The pillows are fluff thanks to Miss Emily. The couch is wide enough, join the family. It's all love while we laugh at Perp's criminalities. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup at hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh, please, the puppies need me. Ooh, oh, please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credential stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup and hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh please, the puppies need me. Oh please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credentialed stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup that hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough.
Hello, hello, hello. I was not prepared. How is everybody doing? What's going on out there, Sofa Squad? Drop a number one if you can hear me, pretty please. Thank you for that number one, Heather. I do appreciate it. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Crystal. Welcome the mods to the station. I do appreciate y'all being here. I hope y'all are doing well. Hello, Shayna. Hello, Brenda. Hello, Aussie. Hey, Mostly. How's everybody doing? Welcome, Sofa Squad. Hello, Miss Emily. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're still feeling better and on the mend. Hey, John. How's it going? So, y'all, today. Now, excuse the blurry background, but I have spent the entire day painting in here and literally am just starting to take the tape off like a minute ago. There is navy blue everywhere, in a good way and a bad way. I basically was over it halfway through, and I was like, okay, we're just getting through this. Bobo is fixated with the plastic on the floor, although he did just lay down, so it should be good. Oh, thank you, Peachy Keen, for getting 5 memberships. Oh, thank you, Brenda. So thank you for all the feedback, the good feedback on the ad lib video this morning, y'all. So. And I had so much fun doing that. I was so glad it went over well. Sarah Boone will be out later this week. I'm going to start working on it tomorrow, probably. And so, yeah, we're just going to have fun with it. If there's other trials, I want to do Charlie's. I want to do Alec Murdoch. I want to do Sarah Boone. There's so many. I have so much fun doing that, y'all. So much fun. Oh, my gosh. So, yeah. Now, y'all, so today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going over the Sarah Hartsfield jury selection day 1, but they already seated a jury. Okay, they ain't messing around. Okay, they're just like, let's get this show on the road, right? And so, yeah, so they've seated a jury, and so tomorrow, here we go. So we're going to kind of thank you, Emily, for giving 5 memberships. That's a really nice compliment, Donna. I appreciate it. And complete side note, y'all know what I listened to today that I was like, oh my God, I haven't listened to her in so long. Gentle Whispering ASMR. I can't remember her name, but if you are into ASMR, she's like an OG. And I put the earphones on and sat on the couch and listened to one of her, I don't know what, the one where she does like a pretend spa day where she's like doing your face and stuff. Oh my God, y'all, it was so relaxing. And then I listened to Bailey Sarian's video from today while I was doing the painting in here. And Bailey's just funny, right? She's just funny the way she tells the story. So anyways, what we'll do is we'll be doing these updates like this, right? They are not allowing cameras in the courtroom. The judge allowed 1 camera and no audio until until the end of the trial. So there's that. So this guy right here, let me pull it up. If you watched me last night, the documentary, it's this dude who's been like following this case. He is obviously there, and he was basically live tweeting. Now he will do live updates every night, video wise and whatnot. So if you're wanting to get like super all up in it, you're gonna want to follow him. His name is Bryce Newberry. He's with Click to Houston. Well, this is Click to Houston, but it's, hold on, what is it? Click2Houston.com. So there's that. Now I'm going to go down to the very bottom, and we're just going to read through this. It's not huge. So, which is nice, right? Because when they don't show us the trial, it's kind of like, okay, oh, thanks Elaine for gifting a membership. That's really sweet of you. So there's that. Now, real quick before we get started, I'm going to respond to this real quick. Hold on. Okay. So I know. Yeah, no detective asked, anything on the arrest of Wendy Adelson? No, but we are sitting with bated breath. Right? Oh, wait, hold on. Who is that? Hold on. Come on, thing work. My mouse quit working. Oh, thank you, Kelly Rogers, for being a member for 2 months. I appreciate you. That's really sweet. Okay, so here we go. Please hold. So 9 a.m., the selection begins. Shibba-dibba-doo. Okay, so the Chambers County District Clerk said 120 people were summoned for jury duty. Only 98 were present after accounting for conflicts, which the judge said was good. They filled out a survey. 9:17, Sarah arrives in court. She's dressed. She was wearing a tan blazer, shackled, of course. Jury prospective panel was sworn in by 9:30. And then, the judge tells them all the stuff. 9:37, they were given a short break for attorneys to look over the questionnaires. 10:20, a prospective jurors returned to the courtroom. The jurors returned about 6 minutes later. The judge warned the case could last 2 to 3 weeks, then began dismissing jurors who said they had serious reasons that they couldn't serve for that long. 16 jurors were dismissed for that reason. 11:47 a.m., a 15-minute break. Before the jurors were dismissed for another break, a total of 18 jurors were sent home. Then at 12:05, return from break. The prosecutors asked the prospective jurors several questions about watching crime shows and about diabetes. Had those familiar with diabetes, they had those that were familiar with diabetes raise their hands, and then specifically asked about type 1 diabetes. This is interesting too. So side note, in these cases that we watch, how there's like some random like information that they're going to want to like ask people or whatever. Obviously, this one this is, at the heart of it. So Sarah stands accused of killing her latest husband. Now, she's, again, if you follow this, if you listened to the thing last night, there's several other murder cases that she's very suspected of doing, but no charges have formally been brought in those. And these span all the way down to even her little brother when she was a kid. So lot of stuff going on. Definite, I think they call it like a Black Widow, in my opinion, kind of vibes going on. So just know that. So this guy here, basically, she OD'd him on, well, allegedly at this point, right? But it plays, right? I can already tell you how this is probably going to end. This is Texas, okay? They ain't playing, and especially with all the stuff going on here. So she allegedly overdosed him on insulin, and I'm talking a ton of insulin. Okay, this man died a horrible death, and he was warning people, his family members beforehand, I got it, she's gonna kill me, like this is not good. And then she got to him. So just that's a little tidbit there. Okay, so 1:10 p.m., there's lunch break. During jury selection in the Sarah Hartsfield murder trial, Prosecutor Vargas emphasized the importance of evaluating the case beyond a reasonable doubt, focusing particularly on the reasonableness of the standard. To illustrate, she showed a picture of a puzzle missing several pieces and explained it was still clearly a world map, showcasing how jurors can reach reasonable conclusions without having every single detail. Vargas reminded the potential jurors that the defendant does not have to testify and that the charges against her are not evidence of guilt. This is a clean slate, she said, underscoring that the only evidence presented and admitted in court can be considered. Media coverage does not qualify. Now, again, if you've followed this, whatever, you'll know, massively covered case. Okay. Think you hear me out. Hear me out. How's it going? What's up? So massively covered case. All the major podcast YouTuber, all the bit whatever did this when it was like popping off a few years ago. Every major true crime thing has done it. It's just been kind of quiet semi recently because she's been waiting trial, this, that, and the other, right? So yeah, they're very concerned about the media coverage, whatever. Are we talking Lori Daybell level where, I mean, I don't know, maybe it depends on the little circles you move in, I guess. Anyway, let's keep going. So Vargas also questioned prospective jurors on a range of topics relevant to the case, including their views on law enforcement, prosecutors, crime shows, and the familiarity with diabetes. Over 30 jurors raised cards indicating personal or family experience with diabetes, including 3 who had lost loved ones due to type 1 diabetes complications. When asked about their ability to remain impartial, 3 raised concerns about previous media exposure. Vargas addressed circumstantial versus direct evidence, stressing that not all murder cases involve clear-cut proof like DNA or surveillance footage, and asked jurors if they could still deliver a guilty verdict without knowing exactly how a crime happened. She also reminded them that while the state must prove the act was committed intentionally or knowingly, it does not need to prove motive. Okay, then let's get back up here. 1:30, Chambers County Sheriff Brian Hawthorne speaks about the trial. Sheriff Brian Hawthorne, who has served as sheriff in Chambers County for 13 years, briefly spoke with KPRCT News while, jurors in the Sarah trial broke for lunch. He described the case as probably one of the more interesting cases, quote, he has encountered, noting it involves a lot of medical aspects and is a, quote, very technical case. He explained what the public can expect to see in court over the next few weeks. Quote, for court appearances, we allow her to change her dress every day. We don't have them wearing gel stripes, he said. Regarding transportation and security, Hawthorne added, we're going to treat her just like any other person. He confirmed that Hartsfield is being held in the maximum security female detention area and is probably by herself the majority of time, but not always. Addressing the national attention the case has drawn, Hawthorne said, when we started looking at her history and then finding out some of the other scenarios and situations that she's been involved with in other states, and now that we have other cases that have been reopened in other states, and I'm glad they have reopened those cases because I feel like they're probably going to find a very similar scenario to what we have. Hold on one second. Sorry, I had me off for that. So, y'all, it would not surprise me for her to catch charges for the shooting death of her one of her former, I think she was the fiance, that was supposedly self-defense. Now, one thing we can expect to see is, is her son to testify. We're going to see, well, not see, but you know what I'm saying, cover here, whatever you want to call it. There's going to be a lot of family type testimony in this. Okay. It's going to be crazy. So yeah, there you go. Anyways, let's keep going. Sheriff's calling it out. Sheriff's like, look, I can tell you this right now. Okay. 2:30, return from lunch. Okay, so after returning from lunch, defense attorney Case Darwin started questioning jurors, asking them if they could consider the minimum punishment of 5 years if Hartsfield were convicted, and stressed that choosing not to testify won't be used against the defendant. He questioned jurors on the dangers of confirmation bias and whether they believed wrongful convictions occur in the justice system. What can happen if police don't go about getting all the facts, he asked, exploring concerns about investigations starting with conclusions rather than evidence. Darwin, who I love that the name is Darwin, right? It's just like the icing on the cake for this. Darwin also spent a lot of time discussing type 1 diabetes, which is central to the case. After one juror shared that her father died from diabetes, Darwin explained how people with type 1 diabetes, quote, can't make insulin and how both high and low glucose levels can cause confusion. It's a lot of work taking care of diabetes, he said, asking who bears responsibility for managing it. And most said the person themselves. Now, this is going to be interesting. And tomorrow, I'm assuming that we're going to get the opening statements, right? So this will be huge to me. So I want to hear, and that already just from that question, I mean, obviously, we're going to hear a few more things here. Okay. Oh, thank you, Diva. I appreciate that. Clearly, I should say clearly, in my opinion, y'all tell me what you think. They're trying to set it up to be like, well, look, both low and high can cause this, and it's confusing. It's a lot of work to take care of them. And hey, Northwest says the obvious question: why does she leave 10 syringes of insulin next to him? I mean, right? So my guess is there's going to be something about the insulin. Obviously, right? They're saying he was killed from it. But she's going to try and go with some type of defense of either, no, she didn't overdose him, or well, she didn't know how to do this and she got confused and accidentally did this. Something. They're going to have to come up for a reason with that. Period. Right? They're going to have to be able to explain it away. And I imagine surely they'll say that in the opening statements if they go about it in the traditional sense and we hear from the defense's opening tomorrow. Okay. 405. State and defense asked the judge for a gag order. The state and defense have asked Judge Kane to issue a gag order in the Sarah Hartsfield trial following Sheriff Brian Hawthorne's public comments about her time in jail. Now, I did think that was interesting because that was my first thought. I was like, they're talking about this media thing and the sheriff's out there spilling tea. Well, then they're like, gag order. Well, at 444, the judge said, absolutely not. And according to the DA, the Judge Kane denied the state's and defense's request for a gag order. 450, the jury is seated, a jury of 12. 4 women and 8 men has been selected for the trial, along with 2 alternatives. Okay, then let's go back up here and just read this. So that's all the little like live tweets, whatever. Okay, now it says several out-of-state witnesses have received subpoenas to show up and testify on Monday, according to records. Okay, yep. Now let's go here. Where did it go? Please hold. Your call is important to me. Okay. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to share the screen. I so wish we could see this, y'all, this trial. I just.
You had that position.
So I've been.
That's the sheriff now. He means business. Okay, now he's mean business. Let's hear what he had to say from the horse's mouth. Okay, here we go.
Been the sheriff now for going on 13 years.
In that time, have you ever seen a case like the case right now?
This is probably one of the more interesting cases, particularly because it has a lot of medical aspects to it. So it's a very technical case that has taken a lot of creativity and ingenuity on the detectives and the deputies' part to put this murder together. But they have done a terrific job of it. I'm very impressed and pleased with my staff.
I mean, can you talk about some parts of how or when detectives started putting the pieces together on this?
Well, it honestly, it happened right away. So kudos to the family and kudos to the medical staff at Houston Methodist Hospital in Baytown. They were really the ones that put the thought process and the information together and just started showing the detectives and the officers, the deputies that responded to the hospital, started putting the facts together, and that puzzle started putting itself together pretty quickly. So I would say that the most impressive thing would probably be the hospital staff for the at Houston Methodist there in Baytown. And then the fact that my responding deputies that actually made the scene there at the hospital immediately saw the problems and the issues and got on the telephone and started immediately talking to the detectives. And Detective Skylar Rocks replied, not just by answering the phone, but by getting in the car and driving to the hospital, where she could immediately start interviewing family and doctors and nurses. And so the puzzle started getting put together right away.
What were the key pieces of evidence that led to the murder charge?
Well, I don't want to get too deep into something because I don't know exactly how the judge is going to handle the jury. And the last thing I would want is for the jury to hear something evidence-wise from me that wasn't presented by the district attorney's office. So, but I will tell you the sequence and the timing of the crime has a lot to do with situations of how normal families handle when one of their loved ones starts, who they know is a diabetic, starts having diabetic issues. You know, most family members know how to handle those things. And so when you just look at the timeline and what should have been done and what wasn't done, and then the things that were done, that puzzle comes together pretty fast.
Sheriff, the defendant has been in your jail for about 2.5 years now. And can you talk to us kind of about her demeanor and actions in jail? There's an assault that's listed on some of the court documents of another inmate.
She's popping off.
Possibly happened earlier this year.
Yeah, that happened early. You know, in the big picture, she's been a model inmate. She's not been a major problem to us. We've have our share of little issues, but we have those with every inmate in a county jail. But in the big picture, you know, she's not been a problem as far as the overall jail operations.
Can you just walk us through the process that she's going to go through every day for maybe the next 3 weeks, right? Because she has to get out of, I guess, what she's wearing in jail to put on civilian clothing. How does that work?
Well, obviously, it's totally up to the court, but normally we always take somebody that is being accused of this kind of a crime. When they come before the jury, we don't have them wearing the jail stripes or the jumpsuits. So we allow them and their attorneys to work out whatever kind of clothing that they want to wear. So we'll allow her to change her dress every day when we, you know, get her out from the cell.
And every day she'll be brought into the building and then taken back.
That is correct. Yeah.
Are there any, sorry, go ahead.
Well, just because of the circumstances dealing with her history, the judge has set bonds that just got her in a position where she's going to be incarcerated till the end of this trial. So.
Are there any extra like special security or safety precautions that you guys are taking for transporting her?
Not particularly. Her flight risk is probably not much more than any other person charged with murder. So we're just treating it all the same. You know, she's somebody that's charged with murder, and so we're going to treat her just like any other person that we would.
I mean, every day when she's brought back and forth, is she handcuffed? Is she shackled in any way?
We have very specific procedures on how we move inmates that have charges that we call it a decision tree. So based upon the crime, so she's handled by our standard procedures.
Is she being housed in any particular way at this time?
Well, she's in the maximum security female detention area.
Single cell or with others?
You know, I leave that up to the jail administrator. For the most part, she's probably by herself the majority of the time, but not always.
Last question for you. Can you just speak to justice in Chambers County? If someone, you know, commits a crime here, it seems like y'all are gonna go after them.
Well, our criminal justice system is a little bit different, say, than like Harris County. And I use it mostly because Harris County is a county of 5 million people. And so the crime and the amount of crimes that they handle are a lot different. And we have a district attorney here that she's very aggressive, particularly on crimes against children and anything that has to do with murder or crimes against people really is probably the best way to describe her. That she's pretty aggressive, and she has a great staff. She actually has one of her assistants handling this case. Actually, a couple of assistant DAs handling this case. Hopefully, she'll be sitting right there with him first chair, because she's awesome in the courtroom herself. So, but we're pretty aggressive. I mean, we're a very conservative county, and I wouldn't want it any other way. It's a great place to be a sheriff in a conservative county that supports law enforcement.
Just going off of that, obviously this case has drawn national attention and a focus on Chambers County. Just what's your message, as this is a murder case, but, you being the sheriff and everything, how you see justice?
Well, it's been very fortunate for us that the way we have treated this case, and then when we started looking at her history, and then finding out some of the other scenarios and situations that she has been involved with in other states, that now we have other cases that have been reopened in other states. And I'm glad they have reopened those cases, because I feel like they're probably going to find a very similar scenario as to what we have. All right. That I think that they don't realize that she's not that kind, sleepy little person that she makes herself out to be. You can just look at her overall history, and you can tell that there's a very evil side to her.
Well, that was just a loud noise. My goodness. Okay, y'all. So, yeah, he was given all sorts of information, right? Oh my gosh. So, yeah, now I wanted to try and find an isolated video of the Facebook post that she did. So, of the many things that Sarah did, that's like, she posted a Facebook video, essentially, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, of her husband dying. Like, he's in the hospital bed at the hospital, and she's like crying and all this stuff over him. It was very red flaggy to people. Her behavior sent up major red flags to people. Okay. And they showed a little bit of it in the documentary that we watched last night. And I mean, it's super cringe. Now also another thing of interest is, the guy, Brian Avery, who's covering this and whatnot, he wrote her like on her tablet or whatever you want to call it, and in jail, and she wrote back, and she's basically like, look, I'm a victim. I picked bad husbands. I'm wrongly not convicted, but you know what I'm saying, accused. I'm mixing the words up here. And I'm going to prove, y'all are going to see. So I don't know if that's like precursor for I'm going to take the stand. Surely her attorneys have said, you can absolutely do it. It's your right. 100%. We're here for that journey if you want it. But, okay, you are highly advised not to. Right? Okay. And yeah, Brenda says, I think she killed her little brother too. 100%. Right? This woman has a pile of bodies to her name. She's going to be having her own kids up here testifying against her. So it would not behoove her to get on the stand and sit here and say one word, because if you open the door on something like in her situation, honey, they're going to drag her over the coals. So my guess is, now, do I think she's the type that would want to get on the stand? 100%. 100%. She probably has her bags packed, bringing them to the holding pen downstairs every day, talking about, I might just be going home today. The jury might hear the opening statements and be like, she's not guilty. Why have y'all even kept her? She probably also, and hold on one second. Okay, so one thing too is like, there's nothing for them to do in jail except mull over this situation. There's just, it's not like prison where it's like you kind of start a life, if you will. It's like you're literally in like some kind of purgatory. So it's my belief that what they do is they sit here and they comb over their case and they do this and they get so micro focused on it. Wait, did I say micro focused on aspects of it? And what's that saying? You don't see the trees to the forest or the forest to the trees. How does that go? Which is the proper way to say that? I mix it up every time. You can't see the forest through the trees, or you can't see the trees through the forest. Or is that, I'm not even using the right words. That's probably more likely. I'm just using all the wrong words. But getting so fixated on something that's like, well, no, just like the Charlie and them, right? Where they're just like, no, well, I can get it. This is crazy. I can talk way out of it. And everybody else is like, huh? It's Sarah Boone. Hey, Jackie, how's it going? Jackie says, oh, she has her Post-it notes and shoulder pads ready. Honestly, maybe it's Forest for the Trees. Okay, maybe it's a Sarah name thing. And no offense to anybody in here named Sarah. Can't see the forest through the trees. Okay, so let's dissect that for a minute so I can understand it. You can't see the forest through the trees. So does that mean that there's a line of trees blocking your vision and you can't see the forest behind them? Or you're so focused on the trees you don't realize they're part of a forest? We're getting philosophical. For the trees. Okay, wait, what is it? Too focused on the low. Can't see the forest for the trees. For the trees. Can't see the forest for the trees. So then what's for mean? You can't see the forest for the trees. You can't see the forest for the trees. This one is all, I think about things too hard sometimes and other things I don't, right? So focus on the trees, you can't see the bigger picture yet. Okay, got it. Thank y'all. Well, did I scare you, little young man? I cracked my Coke and Bo was like, hello. Hold on. So yes, 100%. I think that's what ends up happening. So Sarah Boone, clearly, right? Charlie doesn't, Donnelly doesn't know, whatever. And I think this is going to be another case of it. Now, hold on one second because I want to find something else to go over here. Please hold. Your call is important to us. Let's see what this is. Hold on. Please hold. I said, shooby-doo. I said this right? I said it should be. How do I do this? I don't know how to do this. Okay, I can't get it to work. Okay, we're just going to leave this over here then. Please hold. I can't get any of these to work. Then let's come over here. Sarah. Hold on, Sarah Hartsfield. Hello. What is that? Okay, here's this. Come on. You want to hold on? Come here. You want to come up or no? Okay. Let's see if this works. What's this one? Okay, we're gonna do this one. Okay, where'd y'all go? Please hold. We're gonna share the screen. Shoop-a-doop. And that is what I mean. Boop, beep, boop. Okay. Now, this is, again, the same reporter, same thing, all that.
If I'm guilty of anything, it's picking horrible husbands. That's one of dozens of messages Sarah Hartsfield has sent me from jail after being indicted for the murder of her fifth husband, Joseph Hartsfield. She's never been convicted of a crime, but her murder trial is about to start in Texas. I'm looking forward to going home, even though going home means that I'll have to really begin my life without Joe. Sarah has always said she's innocent and claims she didn't ignore any alerts about her husband's dangerously low blood sugar level. Instead, she says she was on her own pain regimen in another room after having another surgery. Joe knew I couldn't do anything for him.
I worried all the time and prayed about it, that God would protect him.
Joseph Hartsfield's mother and family members told me he was planning to leave Sarah in the weeks leading up to his death, and he even had concerns for his own safety. But Sarah says their, quote, marriage was never toxic, and they had, quote, run-of-the-mill first-year issues combined with the fact that Joe's family couldn't let him have his own life. There are a lot of people on the witness list expected to testify at the trial, scheduled to start on September 29th. We'll break down the key players in part 3.
There you go. Bubba, what do you want? Come here. Bubba wants to come say hello.
Say hello. Bubba says it's time for my little ASMR. ASMR. You're getting sleepy. You're getting sleepy.
So there you go. Her bags are packed. She rolled it up. Okay, she's ready to go home. You have to wonder if she really believes that. It's, and again, I mean, I'm not trying to say it just depends on, because she's probably looking at what their evidence says, and she's like, I have an excuse for this, an excuse for this, and an excuse for this. Now, mind you, they can't sit here and say, well, it looks like she killed her brother and her dad and this and that, like all these murders, right? They're only isolated down to this, whatever. So, pardon me. So, I mean, I get that, right? But it's just like Sarah Boone, where Sarah Boone was convinced. Thanks, Peachy King, for gifting a membership. Sarah Boone was convinced that when we saw the videos that she took on her phone, that we would be like, oh my gosh, bless her little heart, that poor thing. It was a lot. We're shocked she survived that situation, but everybody saw it. I mean, it was completely different, but I think that's part of and I don't know if, obviously I'm not a doctor or any of that type of stuff or whatever. I'm not, I don't know if it's delusion. I don't know if it's narcissism. I don't know. Right. But it's very interesting. So, I don't know. So we'll see. We shall see. So what we'll do is tomorrow, there's going to be more in-depth things to go through because it's going to be opening statements. So, but I wanted to come on here tonight and just like go through the things, see where it's at. And, I held off on even looking at it to do it with y'all. So yeah, so we'll see what goes on with there. So that's the updates for that case tonight. We'll talk for a minute and then we'll sign off and get ready for tomorrow. Let's see, Daisy. Now also, wait, hold on. Okay, there we go. Now also, come on now. I mean, this camera. Also, remember Brian Walsh, October 20th, starts his trial. We are streaming that one, okay? And watching that one or whatever. And I'll be doing some update videos. And as it gets closer, we'll start balancing doing this with that to kind of like get everybody on the same page. For those who haven't well, go on. For those who haven't followed that case very closely. And let's just look real quick. And just make sure, Bobo, no, sir. Bobo is fascinated. Let me change that word. He is fixated on the plastic on the floor over here. Has not wanted to touch it all day. And I'm just like, I know there's going to be little blue puppy prints all over the house. Bobo, no, sir. He was scared. Bobo, come, no. No. He's looking at me like, huh? Oh, thank you, Peachy Keen. Hold on. Let me do this real quick. I just want to make sure that there's not some major Brian Walsh update that I'm not aware of. Okay, wait, hold on. No. Oh my gosh, this just eats me alive. Oh. So prosecutors in Brian Walsh murder case want a buffer zone of demonstrators show, and then I have to pay to read it. But that could be clickbait because it's only only thing. Let's look at this. Okay, we already read that one last night in the thing. So it looks like the trial is still going for Brian Walsh is what I'm trying to get at. So there's that. Now, another thing real quick. We're just going to quickly go because I haven't done this yet today. I've been painting all day long. So let's just kind of work with me here for a second while I do some things. Some quick little searches. Now, Singer David, the cops are saying that they think her body had been in there for like a while, like weeks, right? Not days, weeks. So this changes the timeline of everything. Obviously, we don't know all the information yet. Now, I've switched gears. I'm sorry, my ADD has taken us over to Singer David, with Singer DVD, as we call him, with Celeste, the body that was found in his trunk, the underage child who was found dead in his truck. So yeah, I'm just waiting for him to get arrested on that one. Okay, so there you go on that. What else we got going on here? Okay, yeah, it's kind of the major things going on there. I'm just gonna read your comments for a second here. Oh yeah, Nikki Peaches says, has Dumbbell put out any more? Oh, that's a great question. Let's see. I can't roll my eyes hard enough at that. Hold on. Letters from Chad makes me sick to even type. Oh. Letter 6. I think he did. Does she date them? So real quick, let's go over this Chad letter. It's letter 6. I don't think that I think this is new. So he says, my second near-death experience happened in the summer of 93. 8 years had passed since I had jumped off the cliff at Flaming Gorge Reservoir. I was now nearly 25 years old. Tammy and I had moved to Ogden the previous year when I was hired as a copy editor for the Standard Examiner newspaper, and we now had a 1-year-old son. Ogden is about a 90-minute drive from Springfield, so we felt we were on our own, but still close enough to visit our families regularly. I really enjoyed my new job. I'd been the city editor during my senior year for BYU's Daily Universe newspaper, but going to the Standard Examiner was a major step up. The company was a full-scale operation with a bustling newsroom and dozens of employees, and I was right on the front lines of producing the newspaper each day. This was an exciting time when the computer typesetting programs were being introduced. But when I first started working there, we still actually cut and pasted the newspaper together. On the front desk, we would design the pages, edit the stories, write the headlines, and then send articles to the production room. If an article ended up being too long for the page, I would be called to the production room to decide which part of the story to cut out. Then with an X-Acto knife, we would literally cut the text to fit and paste it onto the page board. That is pretty wild. There was a lot of stress as the daily deadline approached, with people running everywhere and shouting to each other as we tried to do 3 things at once. I would be editing a last-minute article on my computer, but listening for someone to shout, Chad, get back here and cut the story. Or that headline isn't long enough. Rewrite it. So can you imagine him in any kind of rush? I mean, can you imagine him in any kind of rush, right? I mean, honestly, it's like, absolutely not. You already know how this went. That paper went out late every week, okay? Hands down every week. Okay, let's keep going. So the job was invigorating, and I was getting a hands-on crash course in writing, editing, and publishing. The 8-hour shifts went quickly because we rarely had time for a break. Since I had an interest in sports, I became the main copy editor for the sports section. I thrived in the excitement each weekend as we scrambled to get in all of the high school and college stories and scores before the deadline. On those nights, I usually designed each page and wrote every headline in the section. It was high pressure at times, but rewarding when we put together a great section. What were you doing? Let's see what we got. Bye-bye. Okay, where is it? I'm just skipping through this real quick. Okay, here we go. Here we go. We're getting to his near-death thing. So one spot we liked to visit was La Jolla Cove, where we play on the beach and look for seashells. When we arrived on this particular day, it was low tide and a jagged rock outcropping had been exposed. I climbed out onto the outcropping, looking for shells that might have gotten trapped among the rocks. The ocean had been calm, but I suddenly looked up to see a towering wave bearing down on me. I had no way to avoid it. For a moment, I considered trying to ride the wave to the beach, but I knew I would surely be sliced apart by the jagged rocks. Over the roar of the approaching wave, I heard an audible voice shout in my ear, "Get down and cling to that rock, boy." I grabbed hold of a nearby 2-foot wide boulder just as the monstrous wave crashed down on me. The force was incredible, and it took all of my strength to not get ripped away by the water. Come here. Then my surroundings instantly changed, and I found myself out of my body inside a tunnel of light. I was in the portal. No, he didn't say the portal part. It wasn't a bright white light, but more like a yellow heat lamp, the kind you use to grow marijuana. No, he didn't say it either. Okay, it felt like I was wrapped in a warm blanket, and I felt extremely happy. I saw 2 men in robes standing about 10 feet above me in the tunnel, and I instinctively knew them. One was my grandpa, Keith Daybell, and the other was my great-great-great-grandpa, Finity Daybell. They had died before I was born, but it was like reuniting with old friends. I levitated up to the tunnel where they were, and the tunnel opened up into a room. They smiled at me, but they seemed to be in a hurry. Keith began speaking to me and gesturing with his hands, waving them and using the middle finger to point towards me. I'm kidding. Sorry, so it's the only way I can get through this. Let's keep going. He mentioned my 5 children and the roles they would play in the future. It was a strange conversation since Tam and I only had 1 child at the time. Keith also explained the task I needed to accomplish in my lifetime. As he talked, I saw snippets of future events on a set of screens in front of me. The rush of images was almost overwhelming. Felt like they were being downloaded into my mind or something. Keith asked me if I would be willing to fulfill the assignments he had outlined, and I agreed to do so. Finity didn't speak. Finity didn't speak because he was keeping an eye on my body, which was now tumbling among the rocks. I could also see my body, but I had lost all interest in it. I was too busy enjoying this family reunion. Then I saw Finity give a nod to Keith, who made a motion with his hand. I was suddenly back in my body, which had washed closer to the beach. I felt wrapped in a soft, protective cushion as another wave propelled me over the rocks and onto the beach. I credit this cushion for helping me escape additional serious injuries. Then the pain hit me. I looked at my hands and saw my fingertips were, well, shredded. From being ripped away from the rock, the left side of my back had large, bloody gashes, and I had a deep cut on my chin. My family helped me to the car and took me to the hospital to be examined. I didn't have any broken bones, but I did get a lot of stitches. This brief adventure out of my body felt like an urgent business meeting where Grandpa Keith poured information into me, while Finity allowed the meeting to go on just long enough before I would have drowned. It seemed like there should have been an easier way, but I guess they seized the opportunity. I was pretty banged up, so Tammy and I decided to end our trip at that point and head home. On the drive back to Ogden, I told her about what had happened with Keith and Finity. She was very intrigued and started asking many questions. As she did so, the snippet pertaining to each question would play in my mind. I told her about the 5 kids, and she was happy about that. She asked when they would be born, and I explained I hadn't been given any dates, but I had seen we would have 3 kids in Ogden before moving back to Springville. So we estimated we had at least a few more years living in Ogden. Once we returned home, most of the snippets were taken from my mind. And even now, I only have access to them on a need-to-know basis. Tammy and I wish we talked more about it on the trip home and found out more. But we would have one answer soon enough. Little did we know that during our trip, that Tammy was already pregnant with our second child, and the third one would quickly follow. I had seen enough spirit world snippets to raise my curiosity about one future job option, but it seemed highly unlikely to happen anytime soon. During my sophomore and junior years at BYU, I had a part-time job at the Springfield Evergreen Cemetery. During the school year, I would attend classes in the morning and work in the afternoons. Then I would work full-time during the summer. Over time, all of my brothers also worked there, so it became a family tradition in a way. The cemetery sexton was Denny Pickering, and he supervised all the cemetery operations. These tasks included things like sprinkler repair, lawn maintenance, digging and filling graves, and coordinating with the mortuaries and headstone companies, and helping families purchase burial plots. I became Denny's assistant and took care of these matters when he went on vacation. In the summer, there was a 5-person crew to help maintain the cemetery, but in the winter, it was just the two of us. I shoveled a lot of snow. About 2 years after my Lagula Cove experience, and soon after our third child was born, my brother called to tell me Denny had announced his retirement. The city was looking for his replacement, and my brother thought I might be interested in applying for the job since I had knowledge and experience other candidates they might not have. This would definitely be an unusual career change, but Tammy and I felt it was the right time to make such a move. I interviewed for the position and was promptly hired the next week. When things fell into place so quickly, we knew it was the right decision. So with our growing family, we moved back to Springville in late 95. That's it. That's all he wrote. And then he promoted a book sale. Not his book, of course. Some random book. He's soft launching his, you know what he could be doing? Soft launching sales of his book that we read, One Foot in the Grave or whatever it was. That was just pure. You already know what, right? You already know what. So, y'all, I'm going to go eat and crash. I'm exhausted. So same time, same place tomorrow night. We'll go over the opening statements. Hopefully there'll be like some little bit more further in-depth notes that they get for that and whatnot. So yeah, we'll see what tomorrow will be big because they're going to, if they do the opening statements of defense, we're going to get a vibe of what they're saying is the excuse. And our BS meter or whatever you want to call it is most likely going to go off the chain. Okay, because this is going to be her moment to shine. So that is it. Mods, Emily, everybody, thank you for being here. I do appreciate you. Squad, everybody, thank you for being here. I do appreciate you too. Thank you to everybody who did gifts. Oh, wait, hold on. Did I miss you? Yes, Heather in the library gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Heather in the library. I hope everything is going well in the library for you tonight. Thank y'all very much. We'll close out with Slow Morson's Ode to the Sofa. I will see y'all tomorrow evening. Same sofa, same place, same time, same Paul.
The pillows are fluff thanks to Miss Emily. The couch is wide enough, join the family. It's all love while we laugh at Perp's criminalities. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup at hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh, please, the puppies need me. Ooh, oh, please. My body is rejecting none of that fancy credential stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup and hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Puppies need me, oh please. My body is rejecting none of that fancy credentialed stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 Welcome to the Sofa Squad, sipping from the cup that, hey, 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 come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough.